see that fanciness?
Dude, every week we're like upgrading.
I just don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, we are live with. Okay. Oh, Instagram's like behind. Okay.
It's all right.
I was trying to avoid having to click over here and see if it was going up. That's only still counting down 10 seconds. But yeah, listen, we're improving.
What's up, man?
We're improving day by day, bit by bit. Craziness, but it's all good craziness.
Did you get all your giggling out about my fall from yesterday?
I don't know if we talk about it again, probably not.
You're the worst.
It wasn't even your fall that made me laugh when you just told. So, for those of you who don't know, we had it just before we got on air. Simon's moving around a little funny because he probably should be sitting on a donut.
Yeah.
So his dumb ass took a bad bump at a show, got knocked off.
It wasn't my fault.
I'm keeping it short. He got knocked off the apron because he's working with a bunch of 2-year-olds who don't know what they're doing. And he says to me, he goes, I sprained my thumb.
Yeah, I've messed up my back, a concussion. Like, I'm in bad shape. And then Chaz, I don't know why I expected sympathy. I expected laughter, and that's what I got.
You got laughter, but you're not getting sympathy because you should be you should be putting yourself nowhere near getting hurt.
I know.
And you know that. So listen.
I thought switching to managing was gonna do the trick. This is one of the worst.
Putting yourself in bad positions is what I'm saying. Like you need to realize, oh, I didn't think they'd hit me that hard. I didn't think they'd really knock me off the ring. You got to realize you're working with people who don't know what the frick they're doing. Let's call a spade a spade. You got to protect yourself because no one else is going to do it.
It's just my luck.
There's my speech.
Now you're taking the heat at the end of the month.
I don't know about that. But with that being said, I'm super excited for our guest today. So I met this guy. I met him at an indie show in New York that Glenn and I did in like someone's garage. And when I say someone's garage, it was legit. It's a school. There's a school, but it was in, like the garage, the warehouse, I guess.
Like the bay.
Yes, exactly. So with that, I went on and I have a little bit of an intro that I already told him. I told Sean that I pulled this off his LinkedIn and I kind of switched it around. So.
Wait, by the way, when did you guys meet? When was this?
This was actually, I just looked up on Instagram. I have it over here. Let me share the picture real quick. Oh, where's it at? Is it this one? I think it's this one.
Was it the picture that says the headbangers say fuck cancer?
Yes.
Yes.
This one.
Love it.
So I looked it up. This was done. I didn't realize it was 69 weeks ago. I didn't realize it was that long. I was going to say like last year. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
69. Perfect for the show.
And I got the shirt.
That's awesome.
I got the shirt because, as you know, not everyone knows, but Sean is and I'm going to go through this here. I am also a cancer survivor. So I had thyroid cancer that spread to my lymph nodes. Very fortunate that I caught it early. They got it all out. I did 1 dose of radiation. This was back in July of 2018. And I've been great ever since. I take, Synthroid every day since I have no thyroid. But my story, I'm very fortunate. And, I actually have people say to me, it is a big deal. But I look at it, it wasn't a big deal. There was a problem. They fixed it. I'm fine. I've never had an issue. Obviously, there's other people out there who have issues after continuing issues, and they keep fighting back. I work with American Cancer Society, Gilda's Club of South Florida, which I'll get into more with Sean once we get him on. We bring him into the room. But yeah, I'm super excited to hear his story because he's such a fun, interesting guy. And so with that being said, let me read.
Yeah, because real quick, the one thing I want to throw in is I know how humble you are. And but the big deal about it is, Chazzer, is that you are a perfect example and a legitimate inspiration of look what can happen if you catch this early. If you stay on top of your health, cancer doesn't necessarily have to be the death sentence that it once was.
No, and the key there is catching it early. If you catch it early enough, then that's always the key thing. So what I like to tell people, I found mine through, I had a lump right here. There's all the nice scars. There's another little scar right here that I found, and that led me to going to the doctor to get it looked at. and it's actually, if I tell the whole story, first of all, it'll take the whole podcast, but I don't want to. But the funny part is when I went, they sent me for an ultrasound. When they came back, the doctor was feeling down here. She's like, "Oh, I feel the nodule," and I'm like, I don't know what you're feeling, but that's not the lump. And I literally grabbed her hand and put it here, and I'm like, "This is a lump." She goes, "Yeah, I'm not worried about that." She goes, "I'm worried about the one on your thyroid." I had no idea where my thyroid was.
Holy.
All over, like I didn't know. Yeah, so that's how it led to it, but we can get into it later. But yeah, but my point of sharing that is, if you have a lump, I tell them, I have friends who'll be like, "Oh, I got this lump right here. I don't know what it's like." Go get it
immediately.
Like, like Glenn, he's like, "I had this lump on my shoulders. I can't figure out what it is." I'm like, "Go get it looked at." But me, I make a joke out of everything. At least I try to, because it makes me laugh.
But I was gonna say, you've had a lump. You've had a lump for 30 years. You just named it Glenn.
True story. True story. That's that big pimple on my butt. All right. So let me do my intro. Are you ready?
Yes.
Our guest today didn't choose resilience. Resilience chose him. He didn't just recover from a broken neck and survive stage 4 cancer, not once, but twice. He redefined what a comeback looks like. He turned adversity into drive and built a life and career grounded in grit, vision, and relentless execution.
Wow.
They call him the cancer fighter, not just for surviving, but for turning survival into a mission. He has worked with nearly 20 cancer organizations, spoken on Capitol Hill, and transformed his platform with professional wrestling into a movement for those still fighting. He's not just an outside the box type of person. He is the box, rebuilt, reinforced, and reimagined. Sean Wachter.
Amazing.
Oh man, you should have just said you wrote that yourself. No one would have known. That would have been fine. But
no, I give credit where credit's due. I like to do just a little bit of research. And yeah, the funniest part is I didn't even realize we were connected on LinkedIn. It popped up on LinkedIn, and I was like, "Oh, cool." And then I saw your bio, and I was like, "Holy cow!" Like, I'm getting teared up reading that.
I think it was
I choked up reading it when Chaz sent me you were coming on the show. Which, by the way, I've had a couple people that were there last night text me, "Simon, you're still doing the show with Chaz? Man, you're a machine. I don't know how you do it." And I'm like, yeah, like Chaz is going to be so proud, like the perseverance of Simon Says. And then we got 2-time stage 4 cancer. So way to overshadow me, Sean. Thanks a lot.
So
I'm sorry.
Simon, how's your thumb now?
The worst.
Sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
It happens. But by the way, beautiful shirt, absolutely beautiful shirt you have there. I must say, it's quite a stunning piece of clothing.
And you know what else was cool was, and I'm going to use these, is the stickers that came with them.
Oh yeah, those are dope as hell, dude.
Those guys are awesome there at are we swearing here? Are we editing? What are we doing?
You do whatever.
We're
live. You do what you want. You're good.
I reserve my F-bombs for this, but for people at Fuck Cancer do a hell of a job, not only supporting us folks in the community, but also, ordering stuff from them, some swag, whatever it may be. They're always throwing a little something extra in the box.
Yeah, I think I ordered it. I think I ordered the shirt Tuesday or Wednesday. It was here Saturday. I was kind of shocked.
Wow.
I was like, whoa, yeah, that was fast.
They are legitimately fantastic people. The work they do is incredible. The outside the box experiences that they try to get for people in our community. It's just, I guess it's almost Make-A-Wish for the folks on the island of misfit toys, I guess. And you know what? I'll have to give them a shout, because I think the Headbangers would be definitely aligned with that Fuck Cancer vibe for sure.
Listen, I'm in. Like, as soon as we met, I was like, holy shit! Like, it was like, and with the surgery, with your broken neck, and like that, it's just a whole. It's a whole thing. You got going on there. So a lot of people, you and I were talking before we came on, and you were saying how a lot of people think like you get, you have a part of the Fuck Cancer thing and everything. So you have nothing to do with that, or you're just partner with
No,
that? Can you tell us about that?
it's nuts, and I'm sure we'll touch on my journey, and I'll try to keep it brief so we're not taking up all your time and your viewers
No
aren't.
way, dude.
Hey,
This
you got-
is about you, man.
Yeah,
Sean,
but hey, look, you know what? I'm sure your listeners may have like work tomorrow morning or something that they want to get up to. So we want to give them the good, clean, crisp version. You know, we don't want to do
if they want to get up and go to work tomorrow, that's their problem, not ours. Like, we're here to
yeah.
talk.
Hey, no, then, hey,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Sucks to suck.
So pretty much we'll cut into like maybe the middle of the beginning, but essentially when I guess I became a thing, I had a PR firm that my shoot job had hired for me because they were so proud of the positive feedback I had gotten, that there was suggestion that, hey, you need to make yourself an Instagram. I was not a personal social media person, having a business background, being an entrepreneur. I've owned, you know, companies where I had to get my hands dirty doing the social media, but hey, Bill, yeah, fuck cancer indeed. But no, so I threw together a social media for the cancer fighter, Sean Wachter, and my wife was looking for some brands to maybe partner with, and just as she said, hey, I found a good one for you, because unfortunately I have a little bit of a potty mouth around the home here. Not the best thing when I'm having two young ladies, you know, that I'm raising. Got to make sure they don't develop my mouth there. But she said, hey, this fuck cancer people, they're pretty cool. And just one of those boom moments, I looked over to my DMs and they were already there saying, hey, we dig what you do, and can we send you some stuff? And I said, sure, I'd love it. And then eventually I just said, can I incorporate your logo into my ring gear? And they kind of said, yeah, you know what, go right ahead. Who cares? Do it. And they just were so happy with the response that they were getting from my involvement with them that they sent me a flag that I wound up carrying to the ring with me. And I'm so passionate about the work that they do, I wound up actually getting their logo there about a week ago.
And Sean, they were hesitant at first about allowing it.
Well, because they just wanted to make sure they didn't know me. They didn't personally know me. You know, who knows what type of people sometimes float around on the internet making claims and things like that. So I guess they kind of wanted to feel things out. And I guess when they saw my work with like the V Foundation and Memorial Sloan Kettering, I guess they said, all right, they're working with this guy, then he's on the up and up. And they turned around and said, you know what, you will actually be the first athlete or sports team that we allow to go ahead and use our logo. So I did not take that lightly.
No.
That's awesome. And just for the folks watching at home, how long have you been involved in the underwear play fighting, our beloved wrestling business? How long have you been a wrestler?
Well, that's a very loaded question that leads to a very lengthy story. But needless to say, I had previously attempted 2 times to learn to become a professional wrestler, a very short 3-month visit in 2003.
Okay.
And then once again in 2010 to try to do that again. However, life interfered, and we'll get into that. But I've been involved now back with wrestling, fully vested. We'll say, and we'll laugh while we say this, fully trained. But 2 years in wrestling now, and I've actually had the pleasure of segueing out of the ring and now taking up a production hat. And
that's awesome.
Pretty neat projects behind the scenes, and we'll get into all of that. So.
And when was your because you're a 2-time stage 4 cancer survivor. When was your very first diagnosis?
So my first diagnosis was September 26th of 2016.
Day after Christmas.
No, September.
No,
Oh, September. I'm sorry. Yeah. Wow.
I got that Sylvester Stallone thing. I have the same thing with my mouth that he has. So it's sometimes I got a little marble mouth there. So
no.
It's on me. But no, September 16th of 2016.
Wow.
And we battled that until June of 22. And then, and again, more we'll talk about it, but the ringside physicians at WWE actually spotted a reoccurrence and prompted me to go back to the hospital system that I was dealing with and say, hey, something ain't right. And turned out to be my second go with stage 4 cancer. And actually, I'll just bite the bullet and tell you guys right now, this will be the first time I'm publicly saying this, but as of last week, I am officially in remission.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I couldn't think of a better opportunity to share with the folks that follow me and follow the wrestling community. And
Dude, that's amazing.
You can sit here and speak with one of my childhood heroes and get to share the moment with everybody in the news.
Oh, thank you, Sean. I didn't know you felt that way.
Yeah. Yes, Simon, I've been an admirer of yours for a very long time. Simon, you convinced me to do a lot of things. You inspired me to do so much. Thank you, Simon. Thank
you. Chaz isn't half bad either.
Sean's done so much in the last 12 minutes since you've met him. It's amazing. So, Sean, how did one of the people, someone from WWE, find it? Tell us how that happened.
So that's crazy. So we met back February of 24, March 24. We met at that card, promotion, Remarkable Wrestling out of the other end of Long Island, all the way out there. I was at that point where Mike Mondo, few months prior, I had said, go ahead, I'm fully confident now, take bookings, go and do your thing. And from the feedback I had gotten on the internet, I had gotten a ton of bookings across the country, which was awesome because my regular shoot job at that point said, go, you're doing a great job. As long as you're still managing to meet our expectations, like do your thing. If you want to pair work up with it, we'll fly you. So they were great. So it was basically, awesome. I take a meeting in a town like Colorado, for example. I worked with Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling, and I basically said to them, look, I'm coming into town. My job will fly me out there. Just take my pay or whatever you give me for the evening and donate it to the local children's hospital. And I got to do that with a bunch of places, which was amazing for me just to get out and get, not that I took any money from it, to get paid to go across the country. So anyway, started to take a lot of bookings. Gabe Sapolsky from WWE had contacted and the Shane O'Neill. He's one of the other owners of New York Wrestling Connection there up in New York, and said, I'm interested in a few folks. And couldn't believe it. My name was on the list of people they were interested in. And I kind of had to say, like, do they know that I'm limited with my neck and my back? And he said, I kind of tried to tell them without burying you, but they're interested. They kind of want to hear you talk. That's what they feel your strong suit is. I didn't think it was my work rate. So, but anyway, went ahead. I feel that. Hey, don't sell yourself short there, Simon. Like I said, you inspired me to do so much when I was an adult. I owe a lot to you. But I kind of wowed Gabe. I threw a couple of curveballs at him that he wasn't expecting, and I did something where they weren't really interested in seeing me work. Like I said, I don't think they wanted to get sick on the spot. So, but I threw him a curveball, and I said, I've worked so hard and waited for this opportunity, which I never thought I'd have. I took off my suit jacket and my shirt and tie and just made his jaw hit the floor when he saw my physique, which to me was like, okay. I said, you don't know what to do with this, do you? And he said, no, I'm like, don't know if I'm supposed to send you to human resources or call Hunter right now and say, like, I have this weird thing in front of me. So they waited about a month, and then they emailed me and said, can you send us some stuff, send us some promos, sent in my what I could to them. And they said, hey, come on down to the Garden. We want to use you as an extra on SmackDown, and we want to go ahead and give you a tour, give you some work on the loop as an extra and kick the tires on you, see what you got. And it was crazy because I wanted to scream it from the mountaintop, but being in wrestling, even though very shortly, I knew that, and Chaz, I'm sure, which I'm still very like getting used to calling you Chaz because it's Mosh, but hey, LinkedIn, it's Chaz, here it's whatever, all respect paid. But as you know, things change that quickly, and they can book you and unbook you within the blink of an eye for whatever way the wind blows. I remember 2 weeks beforehand, I got a thing saying, we need you to shave, leave a mustache, take a picture and send it to us. Okay. I did that. And the night before, I went to go get my spray tan and all primped and groomed, make sure I look my best. And just as I'm pulling into the salon parking lot, I get an email saying, someone in creative says you look too much like someone. Please shave the mustache off. So I'm like, oh, I'm about to get like this whole shellacking of fake tan. So I had to go to the card store next door and like trim my mustache off with like a children's safety scissor. It was like, oh, planes, trains, automobiles. But when I got home that night, I got the confirmation email, like show up, use the 38th Street entrance, suit, tie. And my family was asleep. I just went out to my detached 2-car garage and I just cried my eyes out. I cried.
I love that.
Because ever since I was a 3-year-old boy, there's nothing in this world I wanted to do than to be asked to be a part of the magic show. And
that's awesome.
And the place to go and do it, the Garden.
Yeah, exactly. But when they asked me to go ahead and be a part and invited me down, I knew that, being almost 40, having some cervical and back issues and other orthopedic eeks and ooks, and obviously the big monkey in the room, the stage 4 cancer survivor, being the only one who beat it in regards to my type and, diagnosis, I went and got extra documentation just so I knew if they had any questions, they couldn't say, hey, see you later, kid, go home. And I actually went to the place where I get my cancer care, and they wrote me a note saying Mr. Wachter is oncologically cleared to compete in World Wrestling Entertainment. And I said, what about this bump here? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. And they tried to explain that, hey, you're doing a lot of crazy and weird stuff, at least to them. They're like, where are you doing most of like your hitting? I said, well, my shoulder kind of goes into a lot of things. And they said, oh, well, maybe that's what it is. We'll give you your scan early and we'll give you, a sonogram of this little lump here. And my scan came back clean. And the people that gave me the sonograph said, hey, just a hematoma, nothing to worry about. So
wow.
When I went to the Garden, about a month, 3 weeks to a month later, they took me into the back and they said, they're making a little bit of a deal of you. We're going to give you a little bit more of a intensive physical before we clear you tonight, because our hope is to maybe be able to put you in a situation where we could bring you down to Florida. And I'm like having my knees like knock at 100 miles per hour, but I'm trying to be a professional about it and no sell it. And got undressed, put on the workout gear, did the whole bend and twist. And then unfortunately they noticed that I have some limitations with my neck. And they said,
Sean,
all right.
hey, real quick, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt, but because I just realized we haven't covered this. What if you don't mind me asking for our listeners and our watchers, what kind of cancer was it?
It was a stage 4 melanoma with a very rare complication called leptomeningeal disease. And what also lent itself to the rarity of my cancer was when you hear melanoma, everyone thinks, oh, it's a skin disease, it's a skin cancer. But my primary tumor didn't occur on my skin. It actually, they believe, started in my brain, going through my eyes and working its way down. So, which is not the normal path that melanoma goes. It normally starts skin, lymph node then, metastasizes. So they go ahead, like I said, I must have had about 6 trainers, 2 doctors in that room with me, bending me, twisting me, do this, do that. And they just basically took a big manila envelope and they were like, look, we can't clear you tonight. We'll still let you be part of the show, but this is what we need. And they started to jot down, Dr. Amon, Chris Amon started jotting down a manila envelope what I needed to get for them to clear me, which would be a note from my neurosurgeon saying like, hey, he's cool with me taking bumps, which I now know he is not. And a more recent MRI, which probably would have shown them a few more screws and fusions that they probably thought were in there. But he pulled me aside and he said, look, no one's saying that you can't go, wrestle for somebody else, but, if it's just not meant to be here. But I think I owe this to you. You really may want to get that checked out. That doesn't look good. And I said, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. And he said, no, do yourself a favor, go get it checked out. And I actually went to my orthopedist thinking like, well, if my hospital cleared me and said, hey, Sean, you're cool, then who am I to go back to them and question what they're doing? It's not so much questioning, hey, is this the right treatment for me? This is me questioning them, saying whether or not I have cancer again. So I felt like, let me go the orthopedic route and make sure that this is maybe something I need to dig a little bit deeper with oncologically, or just this is something else. And from all the bumps and everything, that's where this came from. And I had one of the best orthopedics in Manhattan, Dr. Steve Nicholas. He's worked on everyone from Arnold Schwarzenegger to, Vinny Testaverde and a whole bunch of athletes, through the NFL. And he looked at me and said, something ain't adding up. Let me give you an MRI. Called me at 6:30 in the morning from his personal house phone and said, hey, kid, you got to get back to your folks at the cancer hospital there because you've got about 8 tumors all in your upper body.
Holy shit.
So it was...
Is that was sticking up? That was a tumor?
Yeah, that was sticking up. And it was crazy because I still, after I had the awesome, appearance at SmackDown, like obviously they unfortunately told me, they still let me go out there. I got to be on the show, but which, like you had said, not a bad place to be at the Garden and, 21,000 people. And when they were telling me that they couldn't clear me for contact and, they most likely were going to have to cancel the remainder of the bookings, they said, wow, you're taking this like really well. And I just said, look, you asked me to be here. You gave me a paycheck to be here. I got to wear an NFL jersey for a game. I was on the roster. I got to go out in front of 21,000 people. And I know it wasn't a segment about Sean, but still to go out there as part of something that made people get off their feet and boo. Like, actually, I've never been so happy in my life to get a negative reaction for anything.
That's awesome, dude. But that's awesome.
I just said, look, that's good. I'm at peace with that. But to go ahead and be upended like that and find out like, oh no. And then everyone said, no, melanoma doesn't go to the muscles. This must be something benign or whatnot. And they did the whatchamacallit. They did the biopsy, came back melanoma in the muscles, which it never does. I had spoken to the heads, through my work with nonprofits. I had spoken to the heads of Melanoma Research Foundation and Melanoma Research Alliance, two, the globe's #1 authorities and providers of cancer research, specifically on melanoma. And they both said, that does not happen. So,
jeez Louise, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty nutty to think about it, and not to try to make it more of a sob story, but I had just been wrapping up plans to do some work with NWA, and also too I had put together for Long Island, a major sized wrestling card with our local minor league baseball team. And I was like, this is awesome to get to wrestle in front of, the 6,000 people at that ballpark. And now that's all being put to the side. I had meetings in LA and Hollywood that I had to cancel with major studios.
Sean, I don't know. I don't take it as a sad story at all.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Even the part where you put the show together and you had to think with NWA. Yeah, it sucked, but it's not sad at all because without them finding that, you may not be here.
Oh no, and that's something that I legitimately. It's I always tell people that wrestling was my rock in the storm because before I started to date my lovely wife and help raise my stepdaughter, and then we eventually had a daughter of our own. Before all of that, there always was wrestling. That was my rock in the storm, and wrestling saved my life figuratively, and then it saved my life literally. Now, why I call it sad though is for me, I remember not knowing what was going to be asked of me when I went to the Garden. So I spent the week leading up to that, not just only watching what I was eating and, working on some basic stuff, but cutting promos, rehearsing promos over and over and over again in my gym, in my garage. And then I get this cancer news and fast forward. Now I've gone from, sitting there cutting promos in front of the phone to, recording messages to my not even 1-year-old daughter saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, Dad's not going to be here to tell you this," or, "Hey, if you hear this, like your dad was a good dude and I'm sorry I'm not here." So that's
but you referred to it as a sob story, like.
Well, no, I didn't want to lay it on too thick, but like
no, man, like honestly, it is the
talking about
the part you just said about your daughters about leaving that's deep.
That's heavy.
That's heavy, and I appreciate you sharing that. Being vulnerable enough to share that on here with us, because that literally just sitting here like kicked me in the nuts.
Yeah.
I have a son. Simon's got kids, so when you bring the kids in, it changes the whole dynamic of any conversation. So that was huge. I appreciate you sharing that with us. But
same, Sean, and it is heavy, but like from what I've gathered, it's the antithesis of a sob story. It's you never sound like you're boohooing yourself. You haven't sounded at all like you're playing the victim. Like it's
because I'm not, and we're only talking about really like the second half of my cancer journey, so to speak. And I have spoken so many times in so many places, and bingo halls to Capitol Hill to, banquet halls to conference center, where I've just gone ahead and told people like cancer was the most beautiful thing that ever happened to me. I am 40 years old. I was diagnosed when I was 31. It literally is the tale of two cities. I have done better quality living in the 9 years that I have been dealing with cancer than I did the previous 31. I have gotten to hear from my folks more times than I could ever imagine. We're proud of you. And the background I grew up in, my father being a retired police officer and, Vietnam veteran, and my mother being a tough cookie from old school Irish Brooklyn. It was the proud of yous did not flow so freely. And hey, 31 younger Sean was doing some bonehead stuff. I thought having a bouncing company, and getting to play a year of professional football was an accomplishment. And I think, the things that happened to me, whether it been my broken neck or the cancer, I think that there was something up there saying, hey, we're going to humble you now. And we're going to teach you what life really is. And if you don't learn this lesson, and you don't learn this lesson quick, then guess what? You'll be staring at some dirt and roots. So I don't take any of this for granted. It's I have been put in amazing places. There's so many talented wrestlers, workers, or our brothers or sisters in this business that should be getting a platform, should be getting highlighted and praised for their work and being featured on television. And I don't take for granted that, yes, I've gotten these opportunities. Like I've heard people here or there say, "Oh, he's the cancer wrestler. It's the Make-A-Wish guy." Like, it's funny. I laugh at it. It's good to me, but like, I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted that, Mosh, I got to share a locker room with you. And it wasn't like we were with the other guys just changing. I don't take that for granted. And it's something that was given to me. And I don't, it's people think it's a shitty hand I got dealt. No, I got dealt a great hand. I just played it the right way.
You played it the right way, and you've turned it into such a positive thing. I mean, you
Yeah.
literally could have sat there and been one of those people to go, "Oh, poor me,"
Yep.
would say, "Why me? Why me again? Why me again?" Instead of you took it and made such a positive out of it, and going out and talking about it and being vulnerable and speaking about it. I mean, that speaks volumes. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's ginormous.
I think for me, like I said, my wife started to date me a year into me being sick, and she left a pretty sticky situation with a 1-year-old where she needed to go, she needed to get out, and she came into my life, and I even said to her, "I'm like, what are you doing? You're walking out of a house fire into a forest fire," and she just said, I believe in you." And
Oh,
then the second most important thing she ever said to me was, this may sound crazy, but do you want to help me raise my daughter? And
that's amazing.
right then and there, that was the switch that flipped for me, that really made me want to push myself, because I knew at that point, whether I did not make it, because it was so still early on in my illness, I knew whether or not I made it to another 2 months or to another 40 years, that I was on a pedestal now for this young girl who's now 9, to be an example, to say, like, this is how you get through tough shit. And you know what? This is how you chase your dreams when people tell you you're stupid for doing so.
Hell yeah.
It's I don't, like I said, I don't take for my third chance or fourth chance for granted. But being a dad, getting to raise that beautiful young girl, getting to raise my own daughter, who's amusingly enough, initials are ECW, which was a total accident. I would chuckle over that one. My wife wants to further kill me, but I don't take being a dad for granted. It's pretty cool, and between my soon to be 2-year-old ECW baby there, looking at TV whenever she sees wrestling, going dad,
Oh,
or my 9-year-old. Quick story about another story about the SmackDown appearance. She was with her birth father the Friday night that it aired live. So he's not a fan of mine. I'm not a fan of his. Oh, well, life goes on. So he was most certainly not going to be like, hey, let's watch your stepdad on Fox, like in the main segment of like one of the #1 rated shows on network television.
Right.
So anyway, we waited until she came home, and we sat down as a family, my wife, my eldest daughter, my youngest, myself, and we threw on the DVR SmackDown, and I came out, I did my little bit, kicked Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens and Randy Orton out of the ring, the whole nine, and my stepdaughter started crying. And I said, "What's wrong, kiddo? Is everything all right? Did I do that bad?" Trying to make light of it. And she goes, "No, you just showed me, Daddy, if I work hard, I could do
oh,
it." She's like, "You got to live your dream, even though they told you couldn't." And my wife, who unfortunately despises wrestling, looked at me and said, "Okay, it was all worth it now."
oh, that is right in the feels, dude.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing. Like when we went back, and I've shared this before, I went back in 2016. Like that was my big thing, was my son. He saw me do thousands of indie shows, but at one time I wanted him to see me in that WWE ring, and it just happened to be on SmackDown Live. So I get that, and I could see him in video because my ex-wife actually set up her phone behind him, so I could watch his. I can see his expression, his reactions, as I was coming out down the ramp and watching the match. So, and he like teared up. To this day, he won't admit he did, but he leans over and he was like wiping his eyes. And so I get that. That's awesome. That's such a great feeling.
And you know what? If it wasn't for my stepdaughter, I wouldn't. Like I said, I firmly believe I would not, again, literally, figuratively, would not be sitting here talking to you guys, because her coming into my life gave me such motivation to keep going and keep trying to be a better me and just stop being a bonehead frat boy. So it was definitely a maturing thing. So like I said, it kept me alive, but she's the reason why I'm in wrestling. I put on my cancer fundraiser, just as a one-off, and horribly cosplayed my way almost through a match. And again, it was a weekend that she was with her birth father, and she said to me, you know, months after the fact, like, Daddy, I didn't get to see you wrestle. And my wife was like, you son of a bitch. Like, you get one more. And I just knew that, look, I'm a businessman. I'm a marketer. It's I know.
So he's a marketer and a businessman. So he planned it so he could keep doing shows without his stepdaughter.
Yeah, I wish I did, but it worked. But so I realized, like, hey, look, I can't expect people to come and support a great cause by supplying the same subpar entertainment again. So I went to a local school and actually put 5 months into working on a match, and you know, that's what got the ball rolling again. That's what got the local paper to come down, cover the thing, and then put it up on LinkedIn, you know, at my boss's request. And then ESPN messaged me and said, this is incredible. And that's what led to the talks. And then the $1 million question was, do you still wrestle? And like I said, I had very disjointed, minimal training prior to. The answer in my head being a worker, of course, all the time. Of course. So I scrambled, and luckily I found Mike Mondo, who was still local at the time.
That's awesome.
He's down in Florida kicking ass right now.
I worked the show with him a few weeks ago.
He looks like an action figure.
He's got muscles in places where I don't even have places.
He is an inspiration. He is brilliant when it comes to this business. Like, I told him flat out, I said, you're Jane Goodall. I am your chimp. Like, you were able to get a broomstick to be able to figure out how to put on some semblance of a match. So,
and he's so personable and so generous with his time and his knowledge. And
it's only a matter of time, and this has there's no inside information. I haven't spoken to him about this, but like, I would tell him right now, I'd pick up my phone and text him right now and say it's only a matter of time before he probably winds up at the Performance Center back there again. I know he was there prior to COVID, and unfortunately that kind of cost him his shot there as a full-time trainer, but he's got a gift. He's got a real gift for this. But, you know, like I said, having him be able to train me, you know, work with him one-on-one private sessions, just basically get a crash course in this, and then to be able to flip it into something so powerful where I have people message me saying like, hey, you know, I saw your match, and you know what, I'm going to try to maybe go back to riding my bike like I used to every day before I got sick. Like, I've had people send me messages like, if I didn't see your story, I wouldn't have gotten out of bed this morning. And it's just like, to hear that, like, and I've said it a bunch of times and I mean it, like, I would relive my worst day of this over and over and over again. My only regret in getting cancer a first or even a second time is that, you know, my parents and my wife and children had to hurt. If they didn't hurt, then hell, I'd bring it back on again. You know, let people get something out of it. I mean, I know it may sound sick, but it's just it's how I view it. It's my process. I deal with a lot of survivor's guilt. I've seen a lot of people that have been excellent, amazing, beautiful people, and have not had the opportunity that I've had in getting better, regaining my health. And I feel that the only way that I can come to terms with my survivor's guilt is by continuing to do the work that I do in advocacy.
Well, Sean, if there was a Wrestling Hall of Fame for inspirational and selflessness, you would be a prime candidate. Hell, a recipient, if anyone more deserving of that Warrior Award that the WWE does, you are the personification of it. Why don't you tell people, why don't you drop your social medias so you can tell people where they can find you?
Sure. You could find me at the Cancer Fighter, Sean Wachter. And for, you know, obviously we're all wrestling fans here, but you could follow along at New York Wrestling Connection in New York. That's the promotion that I am fortunate to want to be one of the owners of. Definitely, we've had some talent come through there over the past 25 years that they've been around, that it's a who's who in this business. And then also, too, another great project that I'm working on that's going to be debuting this fall in the Northeast. We're kind of finalizing TV negotiations. And again, this is one of these pinch me moments where it's like, wow, this is my life now. And I can't complain. I can't complain about it. Working with David Marquez, we're going to be doing Gotham Wrestling, a new regional wrestling promotion. Like I said, it's going to be airing on one of the major cable networks in the Northeast.
Will that be part of the United Wrestling Network as well?
Yes, it most certainly will be. It will be joining that Championship from Wrestle in Hollywood family.
I was very fortunate to run my promotion, Vintage Wrestling, as Championship Wrestling from the Sunshine State with Dave Marquez. Dave's a good guy.
Dave is a very good dude, and he has blessed me with an opportunity now to, like I said, work in wrestling in a different capacity where I am not taking the bumps that I really can't afford to be taking anymore after my second go around now with cancer and one too many concussions.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Confusions and neck injuries and other nonsense.
If you ever run another cancer profit show, charity, I don't know, whatever charity show or whatever for cancer, let me know. I'm in.
Well, it's great that you mentioned that. So we are now, normally I run that during the summer. Last summer, unfortunately, I didn't actually get to participate in it because I had gotten sick again, and the promotion kind of suffered for that event. So after having some great success with it and unfortunately some not great success with it, we're going to be moving it probably to either January or December of this year. And we'll most likely have to have you and Glenn come on up here.
That'll be in New York, right?
Yes, sir.
December or January? Fuck that. I'm out.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've worked with the who's who, Sean. Well, if you're ever looking to work with the who's who of who's that, give me a call.
Well, you can't see it, and look, my laptop's kind of stuck in a weird position. But if I turn this around, I actually have a whole Simon.
Computer's broken.
Yeah, no, I just can't turn it. I have ring gear and stuff. I got it on eBay. I just sent some stuff. The walls are a little bare because I sent some stuff out to get certified.
And
PSA
graded.
Yeah, no graded.
I was wondering who was buying all the Simon Says robes and all my jazz. Thank you, Sean.
It's literally, they're like I said, they're either mounted, can't turn it, or they're getting shadow boxed right now.
That's
well, Sean, thank you so much for your time and your honesty and your generosity, pal.
Thank you for having me. Please.
We're gonna have to actually eventually have you back on because there's literally stuff that I jotted down to chat about. We didn't even get to. I don't even think we got to a third of it. I mean, we didn't even get into it.
Oh, that's what I said. It was, but hey, it's all good.
I definitely think Sean needs to be our first repeat guest.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
we'll have you have me on, and whenever you need me, I'm here. And maybe I'll see what I could do. Maybe I could call in some warm weather in December or January. Maybe we have a little.
Listen, for you, I'd come up for that.
Maybe we have a little cancer fighter headbangers trios match up here.
And we can have the moronic referee and have Simon come up.
Hey, count me in. I'll come in and host trivia and raise some funds with that.
Hey, we're just finalizing the date, and the venue is a great venue for Long Island. And
I've done work here in town raising funds for several cancer groups through my I host the Simon Time Trivia Show. That's my shoot job. Is I'm a trivia host full time.
Oh, awesome.
And but yeah, Sean, fucking, you are the man, dude.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you guys much.
Right here. Yeah. So great having you. Simon, we got to get you one for next time.
I got to get me one.
All right.
Hey, you know what? Fuck Cancer has some support team wear as well. So get on in, support the cause.
What's the I don't even remember where I got it from. What's the web? Is it just Fuck Cancer? What's the website?
It is off the top of my head. It is at FXCK Cancer on Instagram.
That's right. Okay, I'll be able to find it.
And then they have their links in the bio for their shops, because I know they have their one standard store, and sometimes they'll do some collabs with some pretty cool athletic companies and stuff like that
Yeah.
geared towards like endurance racing and whatnot. So
Right. Awesome.
Well, awesome.
Well, Sean, thanks again. Appreciate you. You're
Thank
you're
you, guys.
fucking breath of
Thanks so
fresh
much.
air and a great guy, and we'll catch up with you later.
Be good and fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
All right. Bye-bye now, guys.